This evening, first, devastation at dawn. A massive fire reduces May's school to ashes, leaving hundreds of students without a classroom just weeks before major exams. How will they recover? Plus, unclaimed cash concerns. As the government's cash grant distribution continues, questions arise about payments for deceased beneficiaries. What you need to know. Also, job hunting made easy. The Ministry of Labor launches the SkillsConnect App, connecting job seekers with employers at the tap of a finger. And a win for farmers. After weeks of negotiations, rice millers agreed to pay no less than $4,000 per bag for paddy. What this means for the future of Ghana's rice industry. Finally, a new era of European defense. The EU unveils its Rearm European plan as the US suspends military aid to Ukraine. Is Europe ready to stand on its own? Stay tuned. These stories and more tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for March 5th, 2025. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a massive early morning fire completely destroyed May's school in Sobrianville, Georgetown, leaving hundreds of students displaced. The fire, which reportedly started before 8 a.m. this morning, spread rapidly despite efforts to contain it. Fortunately, all students, teachers, and staff members were safely evacuated. Preliminary reports indicate that the blaze began around 8 a.m. A parent at the scene recounted seeing a small fire inside one of the buildings. Despite efforts to extinguish it, the flames quickly spread, engulfing the entire school. Firefighters fought tirelessly to get the blaze under control. One firefighter was injured and rushed for medical attention when part of the building collapsed. According to reports, the school, which housed nursery, primary, and secondary students, had recently changed ownership and was in the process of being insured, but documentations had not yet been finalized, leaving the property uninsured. The teachers were visibly shaken to see years of hard work and memories go up in flames. Minister of Education Priya Manichan was on site and assured parents that urgent steps are being taken to accommodate displaced students in public schools, particularly grade 6 and grade 11 students preparing for upcoming NGSA and CSEC exams.
Full support in terms of placing these children, getting the grade 6, we're just a couple of weeks away from grade 6, making sure they are comfortable, they are seated, making sure their CXC children are also provided for. So as I speak, our exams division is currently looking at 2 places to try to make that determination, but they get our full support.
Minister Manichan was accompanied by Ministers of Home Affairs and Human Services, who also pledged their support. With the National Grade 6 Assessment just days away, the Ministry of Education says it is working closely with the school's administration and parents to ensure a smooth transition for affected students. Parents have been advised to stay in contact with class teachers for updates. Authorities are currently investigating the cause of the fire. On a different note, the government's cash grant distribution is ongoing across the country, but some citizens have raised concerns about beneficiaries who had registered but passed away before receiving their checks. Addressing this issue during his weekly Issue in the News program, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anand Nandlal assured that in such cases, the checks can be collected by a surviving spouse or child, as outlined in the Deceased Persons Estate Administration Act.
Simply put, the wife or the husband or the children of the deceased person can present him or herself and uplift the check at the place of distribution. At the place of distribution. They would have to produce evidence of the death and evidence of the relationship that they are alleging with the deceased person. It's as simple as that.
To do so, the claimant must provide a death certificate and proof of relationship, a birth certificate for children, or a marriage certificate for spouses. An additional witness must attest to the relationship for common law relationships, but a legal spouse will take precedence over a common law partner. The act was amended in 2024 to allow the spouse or child of a deceased person to access up to $750,000 from bank accounts, cooperative societies, companies, or government organizations. Nandalal also provided an update on the distribution, revealing that over 500,000 checks have already been distributed.
Over 500,000 checks have already been distributed. We have loosely about 100,000 checks more to be distributed. Yes, there were problems, but we are completing the exercise. An exercise of this magnitude, an exercise that is of this unprecedented nature, would inevitably have encountered difficulties. And did we encounter difficulties? Yes, we did. And we are not ashamed to accept the difficulties that we encountered. But compare those difficulties with the successes, and I would conclude respectfully that the initiative on the whole was an overwhelming success.
Additionally, the Attorney General dismissed false claims that the checks are only valid for 3 days, clarifying that they remain valid for 6 months, with the Bank of Guyana checks potentially lasting longer if authorized by the government.
Checks ordinarily are valid for 6 months. But this is a Government of Guyana check, and it is valid as long as the Government of Guyana says it is valid. Meaning beyond the 6 months and further if the government says that it is valid beyond.
In other news, after weeks of negotiations, the government, rice millers, and the Guyana Rice Development Board have reached an agreement ensuring that rice farmers receive no less than $4,000 per bag of paddy for the first crop of 2025. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa made the announcement during a meeting with Mahaica farmers, emphasizing the president's commitment to securing fair prices for farmers. He noted that millers were initially reluctant due to fluctuating world market prices, but ultimately agreed after government intervention. During the 55th Republic Anniversary flag raising ceremony, President Ali highlighted that over $70 billion has been invested in infrastructure to enhance rice production, which now exceeds 600,000 metric tons annually. The government continues to monitor global price changes to shield farmers from economic instability. For the first crop of 2025, approximately 230,000 acres have been cultivated, with an expected harvest of 9 million bags of paddy. Annual rice production is projected to reach 804,000 metric tons. Minister Mustafa reassured farmers that the government has consistently supported the sector through fertilizer assistance, seed paddy distribution, flood relief, and the removal of sales commission, returning $498 million to farmers. In 2024, Ghana achieved record rice production of over 725,000 metric tons, surpassing targets and marking a significant milestone in the country's agriculture sector. Stick around when we return. Education Minister launches awareness campaign for Ghana Digital School, and government launches SkillsConnect App to modernize job markets.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Hurry models make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. As part of efforts to modernize education delivery, Minister of Education Priya Manichan has launched an awareness outreach to promote Guyana Digital School, a new e-learning platform aimed at enhancing student learning through technology. The outreach began on Tuesday, March 4th, with visits to St. Rose's High School and North Rhinefeld Multilateral School in Georgetown. Minister Manichan and a technical team engaged students and teachers, demonstrating how the platform works and assisting with on-the-spot registration.
We're signing in as what the studies they can see. So he's a student, he's signing in, using his username and password.
The initiative is being guided by the Guyana Online Academy of Learning to ensure a smooth transition to digital education. The Guyana Digital School, first announced in April of 2024 by President Ali, is designed to improve access to quality education, particularly for students in remote areas. The platform provides digital textbooks, video lessons, quizzes, and interactive exercises for students preparing for the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate exams.
So we go to social studies, we see your announcements in the classroom, here's student discussion, here's a course walkthrough. Let's have a quick look at the course walkthrough. Week 1, individual, family, and society. You will then have pre-class notes. Pre-class means what? Got that right. So you got the before, right? So you go into your pre-class notes even before teacher comes to you, and you read up on what they tell you. This is all aligned to CXC.
The inclusive platform has no restrictions. Students from any region or school can register. The digital school aims to have 5,000 students enrolled in the first phase, potentially accommodating many more as demand grows. Currently, 13 CSEC subjects are available, including Maths, English A, Science, Information Technology, and business-related subjects, with 35 weeks of learning content already uploaded. Students can study at their own pace and access materials for an entire year. The Guyana Digital School represents a significant investment in the 21st century education, preparing students with essential digital literacy skills. The first cohort is expected to use the platform beginning next week, marking an important step towards modernizing education in Guyana. Students can register at digitalschool.moe.edu.gy. In other news, the Ministry of Labor has launched the SkillsConnect App, a digital platform designed to simplify hiring and connect job seekers with employers across Guyana. Developed by the National Data Management Authority, the app allows businesses to post job openings while individuals can showcase their skills and apply for positions anywhere in the country. At the launch event on Tuesday, Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton emphasized the role of the app in bridging gaps in the workplace and aligning with President Ali's vision for a digitally advanced Guyana. Here is a demonstration of how the app works.
This fence, boy. How I gonna find someone to fix it quickly?
Meet David. He needs his fence repaired fast. Luckily, he has SkillsConnect, the app that connects Guyanese with skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers for any job. Posting a job is easy. Just add the job details, set a budget, and submit. Moderators quickly review and approve posts. Mark finds jobs that match his skills on SkillsConnect.
Looks like a job I can handle.
With just one click, he applies for David's job. SkillsConnect lets workers and job posters communicate directly to finalize job details.
Can you come by at 2 p.m. to inspect the fence?
Sure thing. I'll bring my tools.
Mark gets to work, transforming David's broken fence into one as good as new.
Key features of SkillsConnect are Spanish translation for foreign workers, employer-employee rating system, real-time updates on job posting and applications, direct communication between employers and job seekers. The initiative follows other government-led digital advancements, including the Electronic Planning and Development Single Window System, introduced last year by the Ministry of Housing and Water to streamline planning applications. Minister Hamilton confirmed that more digital innovations are in the pipeline to enhance training and employment opportunities further. SkillsConnect is now available for download on the Google Play Store and Apple Store. Don't go away after the break. Floods hit Indonesia's capital, displacing thousands as rescues continue amid heavy rainfall, and violence erupts amid Trinidad's carnival celebrations.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Copy small to make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, despite heightened security during Trinidad's carnival, violence marred the festivities as a deadly shooting in St. James left 1 dead and 4 injured, including a U.S. citizen. The incident occurred on Carnival Tuesday when a 61-year-old man claiming self-defense opened fire, striking bystanders. Authorities detained him and seized his firearm. The shooting followed a security walk praising a safe carnival, raising concerns over public safety. Meanwhile, in Central America, a Hong Kong-based firm, CK Hutchinson, has agreed to sell its stake in 2 key Panama Canal ports to a BlackRock-led group for $22.8 billion. The deal, covering 43 ports in 23 countries, follows U.S. concerns over Chinese influence. Despite President Donald Trump's push for U.S. control, Panama insists it retains its sovereignty. The sale awaits Panamanian government approval. We now turn our attention to Europe. The European Union has unveiled its Rearm Europe plan, aiming to accelerate defense spending among its member states. The move follows U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to suspend military aid to Ukraine, raising concerns about Europe's reliance on Washington for security. Al Jazeera's James Bays reports.
The head of the European Commission, just hours after the shock US announcement cutting Washington's aid to Ukraine, announcing Europe's response, an ambitious plan to rearm the continent.
Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. Rearm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe.
In the European system, President von der Leyen's Commission can come up with a plan, but in the end it's up to each of the EU's 27 leaders to make it happen. They're holding a crisis meeting on Thursday. But there's sophisticated hardware the US supplies that Europe can't replace. ATACMS and HIMARS missiles, the Patriot air defense system, and perhaps even more vital, the US intelligence it gives to Ukraine. In 3 years of war, Ukraine has built up its own formidable fleet of drones, but they're reliant on a US commercial company, Starlink, which is owned by one of Trump's key advisors, Elon Musk. On Sunday, the UK hosted a meeting of European leaders that agreed a 5-point plan for Ukraine. After President Zelensky signs a deal to give the US access to its rare earth minerals, under the plan, the UK and France would lead a peacekeeping force. But that's all in doubt after Vice President J.D. Vance told Fox News the US wouldn't give an overall security guarantee or backstop to the plan.
If you want to actually ensure that Vladimir Putin does not invade Ukraine again, the very best security guarantee is to give Americans economic upside in the future of Ukraine. That is a way better security guarantee than 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years.
Although Vance later said he wasn't referring to the UK or France as that random country, his comments have caused uproar in two close allies that fought alongside the US in Afghanistan and in the UK's case in Iraq too. One defence expert, a combat veteran, says he's appalled.
You know, amongst the veteran and the military community here in the UK, there's a lot of anger, and anger is unrecognised hurt. So there's a lot of hurt that somebody would say that. And also somebody that was in the US Marine Corps would say that, given the losses and the fact that many of us fought, died, bled with the US Marines and with our US allies in these wars. So, yeah, hurt.
The UK has long seen itself as a bridge between the US and Europe, and despite the recent crisis in transatlantic relations, it was hoping it could play that role again and find a joint way forward on Ukraine. Instead, the chasm between the two sides is growing and the differences increasingly appearing insurmountable. James Bays, Al Jazeera, London.
Finally, torrential rains have caused severe flooding in Jakarta and nearby areas, submerging neighborhoods and displacing thousands. Many residents have taken refuge on rooftops, waiting for rescue as emergency crews deploy rubber boats. Al Jazeera's Axel Zemovic reports.
Torrential rains have turned Jakarta into a city of waterways, with floods engulfing Indonesia's capital and its surrounding regions. In Bekasi, just east of Jakarta, entire neighborhoods lie submerged under meters of water. Thousands of people have been forced to seek refuge on their rooftops since Tuesday morning, waiting for rescue.
The floods this time came pretty fast, and we were not able to salvage our stuff, especially in my shops. And all my belongings at home are gone. Maybe it's a warning from God.
At around 3 in the morning, water from the river overflowed from the embankment near my home. The water came in fast. In 45 minutes, it reached my second floor.
An evacuation operation is now underway, with emergency services sending rubber boats throughout the flooded districts. Hundreds of rescue crews are working to reach those still stranded.
We were already taking refuge on the second floor, but around 3 a.m. water came in from the tiles. We went to the balcony, got to the highest part of the house and waited. We were rescued at 10 in the morning.
With roads completely cut off, some desperate residents have resorted to swimming through contaminated waters to reach safety. For many, the wait continues. Officials say the flooding has affected more than 1,000 homes across Jakarta and its satellite cities. Those rescued are being transferred to temporary shelters, which are already housing hundreds of displaced families.
We are working together, the military, police, National Disaster Agency. We have around 350 joint personnel in this area and 30 rubber boats going around for evacuation.
Authorities say this could be the worst flooding to hit the Jakarta region since 2020, when a similar disaster killed 60 people. With heavy rainfall forecast to continue for several more days, officials warn the situation could deteriorate further. Axel Zamovich, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's SafeTV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.